everyone. I am so excited to introduce Nicole Sullivan. We are hosting this solo exhibition for her works. There are six total, and this is one of her solo exhibitions online. So we're going to go through all of the artwork, and she's going to speak a little bit about herself and what this show means to her. I think all of you, mostly all of you, know what this is about, and Nicole is going to give us the rundown. I'm Carolyn Goodrich, the founder and executive director for Art Impact International, and our mission is to keep artists arting and to keep them supported and just to be like the rah-rah team and the anything they need to just keep going, especially in this environment. So with that said, Nicole, please tell us about you a little bit, and then we're going to go into the exhibition. And meanwhile, I'll share my, I'll like change up everything, but you go ahead and start. Thank you.
So I was born in Truth or Consequences, New Mexico. My name is Nicole. I had moved around pretty much from like California to Washington and Montana, and then back down to here. I live in a different part of New Mexico now. I graduated from New Mexico State University with my BFA in drawing a couple years ago. And I just have always been driven to try to either, paint stuff out or talk it out in some way.
Cool. So this show, it's tell us the title of your show.
The Minotaur asks for a face.
Now, how did you come up with that title? It's very unique.
It just kind of, as from what I remember, it came up with a kind of like a conversation that I was having with my boyfriend while I think we were actually in like the art museum in, there's like the Caesar's Palace Mall in Vegas. Mm-hmm. They have that art museum inside that mall. Wow. And it's actually like pretty big. So we were just kind of like looking around, and it's kind of like a Minotaur is kind of like a half animal, half man type of thing. And so it's like someone who's aware enough that they're non-human to ask for humanity in a way.
Well, let's start to look at your work, and then we'll flesh out what all of this is. That was just an introduction of Nicole's work And her show is up through the end of the month. And now we're going to go into the gallery. To, visit the gallery, of course, after the gallery talk, you can definitely just access it through the website that we have here on Art Impact International. So I'm taking the steps that you yourself will go through.
It's a really well put together website. It's awesome that you can do all of that.
I've been doing this for so many years. It's absolutely nothing for me, but that's why I am so happy to share my skills with the artists who are just busy, just focusing on producing the artwork, living life, and so forth. This gives me my energy. So, but thank you for that. So let's go here into, I'm going to put this full screen. Hopefully it'll go full screen. Go full screen, yay. Okay, and so what we're gonna do, now this is the 3D virtual gallery, and Nicole has 6 pieces that we're gonna go through. And any of the attendees, if you have a question, if you wanna make a comment, if you want to say anything supportive of the theme itself, or any questions, please do not hesitate to ask myself or Nicole. Okay, so here we go. We are going to start with this one here, which is right in front center. So this one is titled Daddy's Fleshlight, and it's acrylic on canvas. It's quite large. All of her works are quite large. It's 60 by 64 inches, and Nicole finished this last year, 2020. So Nicole, can you talk a bit about this piece?
Yeah. So first it wasn't, the title wasn't originally that like blatant and crude. It was originally a pornography, but like upon revision, it was kind of like not like misleading, but it was like that can kind of mean anything.
Mm-hmm.
So, so just I was abused growing up. Pretty much, this is like the whole all the paintings are some of the memories that I have of that. While my dad would like watch a certain type of like pornography, he would use me to masturbate. And so that's my memory, right, of one of those times happening.
Wow. So you are so brave, Nicole, to produce this artwork, to come here and talk about what has happened in your life. So I just want to applaud you for your bravery and for your dedication to doing something positive with what negatively has happened to you. So again, thank you so much for producing the work, for showing up here, for talking about it. And I hope that everyone else on the call, if you know of anyone, or even if it's yourself, this is the time, this is the space for you to share if you'd like. Now, we are recording this, so if there's any part of it that you don't want to be recorded, or if you want me to delete it, please just let me know. But this is one of the reasons why this show is being presented, so that each of us can share. And with that said, I will share for myself something similar, but it was not my father. It was one of my babysitters who did this as well. Now I'm 60 years old, right? And I haven't told anyone, I haven't painted about it, but you know, I just vaguely remember it was disgusting. You know, I vaguely remember it was disgusting. And so when I see this artwork, I can totally relate. You know, it's not funny, but it, you know, it's like, man, you know. So does anybody else in the audience, any of the attendees want to say anything about this piece, which I'll put up the title again, which is Daddy's Fleshlight. You can just unmute yourself and say whatever you'd like about this particular piece. Okay. Okay, here's another piece called My Socks. And this is also acrylic on canvas, and it is 34 by 61 inches, right? And it was also completed last year in 2020. So, Nicole, tell us about My Socks.
This was actually the first one I completed because it was my first memory. I just remember like after going through therapy the first time, this memory was something that just kind of it like depressed me for a long time, and still kind of does a little bit. That like I have to kind of sit and think really hard to remember good parts of my childhood that weren't like just like weird or kind of like tainted or something. So this was like just my first memory, really. Like the earliest thing I can really try to think of is like after I was abused one time. I think we were living in Washington. I didn't really know, like, it wasn't that I didn't know it was like bad, but it was like I had no way to like question what had just happened to me. So I remember running up to my mom and kind of saying like, you know, dad had sex with me, but like I think that she was kind of like in shock for a second because I don't remember what happened, but like I remember that my dad right away picked me up and like threw me into like the tub pretty much like with all my clothes on, and like I just remember my socks, and I was like crying and stuff, like saying that because I was confused like why that was happening and why I was being thrown into a tub with my clothes on. And so that's him in the doorway. Like I remember he looked back at me walking away and like shut the door.
Wow. Wow. And you have this, is that a window at your feet, like a glass window?
Those are the shower tiles.
I see. Okay. Okay. And the room is black. Is that your feeling color of this? Or
I have been working mostly in black canvas for a while because I feel like it does kind of give that different feeling.
okay.
It kind of shows the colors in a different way.
Mm-hmm.
And it all, yeah, I feel like that it kind of, it's like, you know, like not every memory is like super detailed. It's like I couldn't draw out like the sink or like the rug or if there was like carpet on the floor or anything for you, but it was like those like the yellow of like a, you know, like a bathroom pretty much, you know, like yellow lighting and just those bits and pieces. It's like I try to put more detail on the stuff that I really remember and kind of, just use the paint to block out generals of what I don't want to like make up, but I know was a little bit there.
Right. And you have the red, blue, and yellow bottles with what looks like the Muppet figures on there,
Yeah,
like Big Bird and
guys.
what?
The little Sesame Street guys.
Yes, yes, yes. So,
I just remember having it was just kind of like a childhood memory as well to
mhm.
have that. I don't know, because I think that they still make them. It's just kind of like finger paint you use in the tub, like for kids.
Ah,
So I
wow,
just kind of like you can draw on those tiles that they have in the shower or whatever, or on the tub and stuff, and it just rinses away.
wow. Okay.
Hi, this is
Naja. Hi,
this is
Naja.
not. Hi, how are you?
All right, Naja. Thank you for attending this really significant talk. Did you want to say something?
Yes, as I was trying to unmute myself for the first image because I had such a strong reaction to it, but I could not unmute it quick enough. But uh, my reaction is that the person looks like a monster almost to me.
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the hands and the way the shape of the hands and the fingers, and then the even just the eyes and the just below the breastbone, and it just I had no idea, in the beginning what was going to be said, but it totally looked monstrous. And I have a question, or it could be just a comment. You don't have to respond. The artist, your name is Nicole?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, hi, Nicole.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm wondering if I know you mentioned therapy. I know that you mentioned therapy.
Right.
Right. And I'm wondering if you went through trauma therapy or post-trauma. There's this, post-trauma therapy type situation. And if you are using this as a way of confronting the trauma and healing. And if you are, there are different stages from what I understand. If you were able to work through any of the stages that, you are aware of.
Yeah, so everything had pretty much kind of like I caught up together around the time I was about 12 to 13. And pretty much from about 10th grade until until I graduated from high school, I was in therapy. What my therapist tried to really get me to focus the most on during that time was a type of mindfulness, like awareness thinking of like my I am diagnosed with like the complex PTSD. So it's like whenever the triggers come and you have the reactions to these things, stuff that generally I've kind of react with anger a lot. Honestly, I react very angrily to a lot of things whenever I feel like threatened or if I'm triggered in some way. And so it's kind of been one of those things where you have to teach yourself, okay, well, why am I thinking this? What made me think this? How is what basically like what's the context really, and am I being realistic type of thing. It's like this kind of like constantly asking yourself why, um if you're not finding yourself like in a good mental spot. And like it's, yeah, it's i I hadn't been to therapy again, so that was I graduated high school when I was 17, so that was about 10 years ago. I had started this series about a year ago, yeah, and I feel like that through starting it and stuff and then finishing it, it's like a lot of that stuff that was still kind of on my mind has lifted. And yeah, it's interesting kind of like talking about it and stuff, because I haven't talked super in depth about any of this stuff to anybody who wasn't a therapist, pretty much. So it does kind of feel healing in a way. At the same time, I honestly still am like still trying to control that anger. And I feel like that in my recent months of like having turned 27, as I get closer to 30, I feel like it's not that I'm not still angry about stuff, but I feel less reactionary in small ways. And I feel like it's more worth it to focus on like, you know, like this took like a year and a half or so to complete and stuff. And plenty of times during it, I was just kind of looking at it like, well, what, you know, like, what's the point? You know, like I'll probably die and no one will ever really see this, or, you know, like, what does it matter what I went through kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I was wondering, is the art that you're doing, putting it on canvas, giving you context for healing? That's what I'm wondering.
Right. It kind of has, but like you were saying with the stages,
Yes.
I feel like that I've gone from being like consumed with this confusion and anger to kind of like, you know, maybe moving past it. It is part of the past now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if it's healing for me, honestly. I don't know, but I just, I'm just like done with it in a way.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you for sharing that. I know that anger is part of the residual of trauma. That's one of the phases. That's one of the elements or aspects of trauma, which is anger. That's
Right.
why I was asking you that. Thank you.
And
No
and
worries.
Naja,
Thanks for
do
asking.
you have a background in therapy yourself, or are you just versed with this because you've studied it?
I study it. I study many things in behavioral sciences. I also I am a student of mindfulness, spiritual healing, and I'm a student of Deepak Chopra and Eckhart Tolle. And there are many things that converge. So, you know, I'm constantly putting things together for myself, as well as just understanding other people and things that other people go through. So I'm constantly researching and studying and applying and just looking at, you know, things that afflict us in the human condition.
Well, thank you for being present, Naja. Thank you very much. And
You're
and
welcome.
again, thank you, Nicole, for answering her question. I've moved on to the third piece here, which is titled, let me pull it down. It's titled, What He Taught Me. Acrylic on canvas, 60 inches high by 41 inches wide. And this was completed this year. So Nicole, please tell us a little bit about This Is What Makes Babies. And you've done a lot of illustration here, a little more so than the first two that we saw.
Shit.
So basically, this is just this is like from my room after we moved back down to Cruces. My dad has kind of been like in and out of my life because he was in jail and stuff. So it was like we moved down here before he was out of jail, and then after he got out, he came down here and removed in with us and stuff. So this is like pretty much after he came back, he just continued the abuse. This was like my room, and pretty much like just after one of the times, honestly, it was a nightly thing. And just one of the times that he was finished or whatever, he hadn't like, he would just honestly say like so much like disgusting stuff to me that it's like it's hard to like repeat any of that without like feeling very disgusted and stuff. But it's pretty much that he just the light was on. I remember standing, so it was like I think that he had just finished with it, and he said I think I have enough, like I think I have some left, let me show you what it looks like. And he had told me a lot that he wanted to wait till I was like of age to get me pregnant, and he was pretty much teaching me about what semen was.
Wow. Are these images on the left of the painting that are spherical? Tell us, what are those?
That's my bed sheet. Back in the day, the first Star Wars, they had those bed sheets all for sale at Walmart or something, and that was just one of the ones that I had that I remember.
Okay. Wow. And then I'm really looking at the environment that you're painting here. So I'll go in here. Here you have a little painting. It says Mary Kate Ashley.
I have a poster of Mary Kate and Ashley that would be right in front of my bed.
Are those your classmates or friends, or?
They were twins that were on TV, actually.
Okay. And this section here, where it looks like a doorway to another room or another hallway, and you have it in red. Can you tell us what is that?
That is that's my door to my room leading down the hallway, and directly, pretty much like if this is my room, there's a long hallway leading to this room that was my parents' room, pretty much.
And where was your mother? This is each night this is happening?
Yeah, my mom was there.
Oh dear. And this is your biological father?
Yes.
My goodness.
Part of the title comes from like it's kind of how I feel about him, because it's the way that I understand my father, which is like I took it upon myself to kind of figure that out, because like it was very confusing growing up. He was abused as well growing up by multiple different people. I actually learned that I have like half siblings that are older than me through non-consensual experiences that he had. And he ended up being diagnosed with schizophrenia and bipolar, and I don't even know if he was born with the right mind, if that makes sense.
Sure it does. Sure it does. So
Nicole.
he himself was totally abused, and he just pushed it forward to you. He was so. The reason I asked about these little items, I wasn't sure if they were cookies or condoms. I said, I don't think they're condoms because they're sort of shaped like that. So, so thanks for clearing that up. But it seems to be the brightest and happiest part of the painting. It's sort of like, for me, it's a resting place for my eyes to look, that I see as something positive and not gross, you know. And I know what you've gone through is gross, to say the least. But know that your artwork, I wanted to just be as, I guess, clear as possible with how I see the work, because each of us here on the call, if you comment and let Nicole understand how it is that you see the work, it may help her as an artist with her craft, and also to help focus on her skill, which is her talent. And that's one of the reasons why we're all here. It's to support your talent, to support your creativity, wherever it comes from, however it was born, that's fine. It can be something of a transformative thing for yourself and also for others. So does anyone want to make any comment about what we've seen so far, and specifically this piece, This Is What Makes Babies? You can unmute yourself and contribute to the conversation.
Hello.
That's Wendy?
Yes, hi. This brings up a lot of emotions for me as a victim of sexual abuse from my own father.
Oh dear.
It's so wonderful that you're able to express and put these feelings onto a canvas. And I can see it being very therapeutic, as art is, like even for myself. It's pretty hard to see this because it really does bring back a lot of my own childhood. And I think you found a wonderful way to just heal your own inner spirit from what has happened. And I find that myself as an artist, a lot of my own emotions and things come out in the art. Even sometimes I don't even know where I'm going with it, but it just all kind of flows out. And the universe has a way of definitely healing us from traumatic events. And I feel very sorry that many of us women have gone through these type of things. And I know there's a high percentage of women who have been sexually abused as children by their own family members. And so you are definitely a step ahead by being able to express these things through your art. And many of us can relate to this. And I wanted to thank you for sharing this.
Thank you. I'm sorry to, whenever I have shown people these things, and then like right now it's really sad to hear that other people have these experiences. It's like nothing that I'm not aware of. It's, I feel like that coming together with these stories does make it a little bit more real in a way that is more productive and hopefully more like you said, like spiritually healing and stuff for more than just like an individual, but it's a collective of people.
Yes, indeed.
Yes. Thank you, Wendy. Thank you for sharing that. and for your comment. Thank you very, very much. Very much. So this is the third piece, and we have about another 20 minutes or so. However way this ends, I'm going to make an announcement at the end, which I don't want to make it now, but it's just to give you a preview. It is our next artist call. It's called Femme Champions. And I'll show you the artist call page at the end. But I think it's a good segue from here because, like you said, Wendy, many, and Nicole, many women go through this, and also young boys as well. I've heard stories from them too. So it's unfortunate, but still we're able, as women, able to prevail, to do good things, to be champions in our own right. So that's sort of the focus on the next exhibit call. So with that said, I'm going to, unless somebody else has a comment to make about these first three images, I'll move ahead. So while I'm going through, you can unmute yourself and say something, or just hold tight and let Nicole talk about this next piece, which is entitled What He Taught Me. It's acrylic on canvas, 60 by 41 inches, and this also was done this year. Nicole, can you talk about this? It looks like you're holding something in your hand. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I think that maybe the titles might have gotten mixed up with that last one.
Okay, so tell me what I have my notepad, so tell me what this title is. Okay, hold on one second. Let me get out of here. Yeah, maybe, yeah, that's probably, oh, here it is, My Best Interest. Sorry.
Yeah.
There it is, My Best Interest. Acrylic on canvas, 60 by 64, completed this year.
Yeah, so that pretty much, this one is the most, this one is the more, it's like, it's not something that's like didn't happen, but it's like, pretty much, by the time I was, yeah, like in 9th grade, this is when everything kind of like came together. I was already kind of like acting out in school. Like I had always been in trouble, like outside of the house too. So they were finally kind of like having me go to like this like mandatory therapy thing. I don't even remember if they really talked to me about it or whatever, but they just kind of like called me out of class one day, and they were having me go to the health room to fill out this paperwork and stuff. And pretty much at that point, I had already, like within the next month, like within the next couple of weeks, like I remember, like I was planning on stabbing him in the throat while he was asleep, and then we could just be done with it. Like I didn't care about going to jail. It wasn't that big of a deal for me, and it was the solution that I thought was best at the time. So whenever I had gotten called in on the form, it said, have you ever been raped? And I don't like lying, but I didn't want to just say like, yeah. So I left it blank. And I remember it was this guy's like first day too, because he told me that he was excited. Then he looked at my sheet. He asked why I left that blank. And I think I just like shut down. And I remember he just like looked at me for a second and like got up. And from there, from there, it kind of goes into that, I think the last painting and stuff, the 6th one is me at the police station giving my, telling them what happened, like, because I had to put it in words, like either verbally or on paper, that it was like a testimony kind of thing so that they could go arrest him. So this was my fantasy of going into his room and, you know, stabbing him the same way he had stabbed me, but I would do it better.
Okay. Understood. I understand. Understand. And again, as this is artwork and this is your painting, I see the different aspects of it. You have very well depicted this poster of Born in the USA with the Harley Davidson motorcycle. I'm just guessing it's Harley Davidson, and the eagle. Now, tell me about that. Talk about that aspect of the piece.
So that was actually kind of, it's I kind of have like attached like mixed feelings to that tapestry that he had. So basically from that corridor, like the door from my room going in, like you see all the way into their room, you can see like the head of their bed, that nightstand, and then that tapestry there. If you just looked right, you didn't have to go into their room to see that.
Okay.
And he just always had that. He had like an AC/DC tattoo. And to me, it kind of like whenever I was reflecting on it while painting it and stuff, and not to be crass or anything, but I kind of during like with research and trying to find the like an image of the tapestry to see if anybody had it. That's actually like a Confederate kind of thing. Like the original thing has the Confederate flag on it, and I don't know my dad's feelings about any of that type of stuff, but there might be a reason why I don't know his feelings about that type of stuff. But I just remember always seeing that, and I just remember that eagle was, I don't know, it was always just there. It was always just like pretty much he would be sitting there, always in his room, and that was just right there.
Okay. And the heart that you have there, the white heart, is that an image on a television? Is that a window looking out at the night scene? What is that?
Yeah, that one is a window. There's a window in that room that's on that wall facing to the backyard, and that was kind of showing it at night. And yeah, like the heart, I thought was just kind of like an obvious, like, just kind of like a moon kind of thing, but just
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. And then lastly, you have a picture of a person. Was that your father? Over here on the upper left side? Let's see if I could zoom in.
That was a picture that I drew for my parents that was tacked up in their room. And that is actually like we were reading Harry Potter in 4th grade, so we were all drawing him.
Okay. Okay, so that's Harry Potter. Okay. Is there anything else here besides the roses on his bed sheet, which I think is also interesting that you put something so lovely over him?
That was their actual bed sheet.
That was their actual bed sheet. Okay. Okay. It's just, I ask you these questions because I wonder, what's the origin of the depictions that you have? It helps us truly understand even more clearly what you remember and what you've gone through, and hear your intention. So that green object here was then a knife. Yeah. Okay, so I think my favorite part of the painting is the heart instead of the moon. I kept going back to that. So thanks for Does anybody have any comments they'd like to make or questions about this piece called My Best Interest?
Oh, this is Winifred. I don't have a question about the piece, but you did mention your mother was there. Not going into any detail, but was she aware of what was going on?
Yeah, she was.
Oh, thank you.
Wow. Was your mother, was your mother also abused, Nicole? Did you ever find out that?
I believe that she was.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, I think so too. Because why would she let that happen to her daughter? Okay, so
This is Naja. Can you hear me?
yes, we can hear you, Naja.
As an educator, I can tell you right now that that silent answer that you gave was the loudest siren that you could have given off. I was an educator for 23 years, and we know and understand how children communicate by not using words, and that was the best thing. If that is what began you getting some help or attention for what was going on with you, because the fact that you did not answer that question, silence can be stronger than anything, any words that you can possibly use. I had a young boy in my class that myself and my para discovered sexual abuse, and I don't remember exactly all of the details, but that silence is a very strong, loud siren. So that was a good thing.
Thank you, Naja.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you, Naja.
You're welcome.
This one is called At the Police Station.
Yeah. So that
And
was
let
the
me
one that
describe it. It's acrylic. It's a square. Yeah, 57 inches square. Let's see if I can get it closer.
So that was the one that I had briefly mentioned, is that basically whenever I was taken to the police station in town, it was, I do kind of find it hard to speak. And then when everything just kind of got serious after that and stuff, I got really nervous, I think. And, instead of being able to just say the words of what had happened and stuff, I wrote it down on this pad of paper that they had. And I just remember that it was like this little interrogation room. I could see like it felt like that other people were like watching and stuff. And the detective was a woman who just sat down in front of me and just kind of asked what was going on and stuff. It was probably like the gentlest part of any of that, which I know honestly isn't the case for a lot of people, because sometimes whenever the police get involved, that actually makes it worse. So I feel glad that like the system didn't end up, not taking anything seriously. The cops have been called to our house quite a few times and stuff, but I guess the sexual abuse part is what made them like pay more attention or something.
Can you tell us what these circles these beige circles represent?
The people watching.
Okay. Okay. So you could see them watching. They were in the room with you or behind the glass?
Yeah, I couldn't see them, but it felt like I was being watched by like
Okay.
a bunch of different people at that time.
Okay. Okay. Very good. How long did it last for you in that interrogation room?
I remember I think school would end between like 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So I was there probably from 2, and then I don't think that the interrogation process took that long, but I never went back to my house after that until everything was done. I went right to a group home from the police station.
Wow. 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 That must have, did you feel relieved that you didn't have to go back home?
I have younger siblings, and I was concerned about what was happening with my family and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just felt scared about what was going to happen next. And then like with a lot of criminals and stuff, it's like he would all like, like I said, like the cops would come and he would just talk to them. So I also just kind of thought like, like what did I just do?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Was he arrested?
Yeah, right now he's in prison.
Okay. Okay. And your siblings are okay?
Yeah.
Okay. He never tried anything with them that you know of?
He did.
Oh dear.
He did.
I'm so sorry to hear that. I believe this is the last piece, and then we can have our wrap up. This is called Mom and Dad Fight. 47 by 45, and this also was done this year. Look at all of the eyes that you have here. Do these eyes represent your siblings watching or what? If they are eyes, I just wonder.
Yeah, you're right. Those are eyes.
Okay.
I kind of, it's like this one is it's kind of like all of that stuff is kind of like an envisioning of how I thought that my dad's mental state kind of was whenever he was angry.
Okay.
Because he's this really, like he just like with the schizophrenia, just all of that, it makes you like paranoid. It makes you, he was just very violent. Mm-hmm. He had all this, he would say like, I wouldn't necessarily call it like the craziest things, because what was also scary about it is that he wasn't wrong a lot of the times. Like he was right about a lot of stuff, which he's a really kind of like a scary man in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Are these little demons on his arm there? These two figures with horns on their head?
Yeah. The scene in general it's kind of what had at the time, it stuck with me because like my dad would, whenever he'd fight with my mom and stuff, their fights were also kind of escalating over time too, more and more violent, and the cops were getting called more often to the house towards the end of all of that. Mm-hmm. And at one point I kind of was, I was watching, I could see them fight, it's not like they had their doors closed really.
Right.
So he had a knife, he pulled it out, and he told my mom, like, well, if you hate me so much, then kill me yourself. And so that, that whole, all that really stuck with me. And then just that knowledge of like, well, it's like this man's like a coward. He wants to die so bad, but he wants to, he would actually say like, if I'm having a bad day, everyone else is going to have a bad day with me. Like he would actually say that.
Okay. And these objects here where it looks like a little flame. Are these little flames over here?
Yeah.
Okay. And this figure up here, is that like a goblin demon?
Yeah, just kind of more monsters and creepy
snakes?
crawlies types of things.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, like, I don't know, the way that he always struck me was this, like I said, just very scary because of the things that he knew. Like he wasn't just one of those like tinfoil on the hat people. Like, if we want to talk about spiritual stuff, if you didn't know anything about his darker side, you would probably be very interested in the stuff he had to say.
Mm-hmm. And let me back out here. That orange, this orange is like a sword?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's what he was telling your mother to use if she hated you that much.
Yeah, well, if she hated him.
Him, right. So, sorry. And so here you have, if you hate me, kill me yourself. So that's him talking.
Yeah.
And this part where it says, listen, wait, stop. Is that your mother telling him to listen, to wait, and to stop yelling?
Right.
And the CN, is that the news that was being watched during this argument?
The TV would just always be on, and he was also just very childish. It's Cartoon Network.
Ah, okay. Okay. Wow. And this figure here, is that you? This little figure. Yeah. I could feel it. I could feel that would be you. Yeah. Because you have this look on your face of consternation and sadness. And also you're small here as opposed to these two adults. But you have the sun here, up here in the sky, with sunglasses on.
Yeah,
and you have the crows. The crows look like they're on the wires outside. The cables, right?
Yeah, because I don't know. The sun is kind of like that's just how I would always draw the sun when I was a kid. So I kind of did that to kind of like call to that, I guess. And it's just that every day outside would be normal no matter what was going on inside the house, pretty much. Just, the weather doesn't change depending on if someone's mad or not,
Yes, I do know. Yes. Very, very awesome, Nicole. Awesome. So I really pinpointed and picked apart and asked you all kinds of specific questions about your work. I'm going to go around and make sure we didn't leave any piece out. Just give a last tour of the show. Yeah, we covered it all. So Nicole, do you have any last comments that you would like to make that you may not have covered with the questions that was posed to you by myself and the other attendees? Would you like to share anything else? The floor is yours, my darling.
Thank you, Carolyn. Well, I just want to thank you again for putting all this together because, it's amazing what your talent is to be able to do that and that you even want to extend it to other people. So thank you for that. Overall, like we had discussed and tried to put forward first and foremost, is that it's not, like it's not just stuff I wanted to put out there because like I want other people to feel uncomfortable, or like I had in mind like the Maplethorpe thing where I was all very like one of the things that I had in mind while creating this was how can I talk about pedophilia without making pedophilic content. And that was after I began to figure all that out, that's when it became easier to make these paintings and stuff. Basically, it's powerful for victims to be able to come together and find support with one another. But for the people who haven't been abused and the people who, it's like I tell some of my friends, and I've told my boyfriend, I wouldn't want to, I wouldn't want them to have to experience what I went through in order to understand it. I just want them to, it's kind of like they have to break past their own rigidness of treating people a certain way if they're not fitting their social norm, to be like more considerate. And like if someone is acting out in any way that makes you concerned for them or concerned for the people around them, it's not necessarily your job to take them one-on-one, but it isn't wrong to acknowledge anything.
Right. So what you're saying is if we do run across someone who doesn't fit our bill, that we shouldn't pass judgment flippantly. We should actually think about what might be going on in their lives that would even cause them to be so, whatever they're being, that doesn't feel good for us, right? And just out of compassion, inquire, or just give them a hug. Who knows,
Right.
Right.
Because honestly, just it's like, like the question of healing and stuff, and I feel like I did this less for me and more for my parents, in the way of like, I wish that they had been at their best mental state when they had me and my siblings, because what really is sad about people who, commit these types of crimes, and it's like, the stuff that someone does doesn't necessarily make them wrong or make everything that they do horrible. It just makes you feel and know that you're not safe around them. So that's what's sad to me, is that like if I was able to feel safe with my parents, I feel like that I would have had a really great childhood. And so I feel like that people deserve to grow up, not having to worry about their parents' garbage like that. It's, it's sad that, and I know that, even if it's not as severe as this, just people take on their parents' stuff because, again, that acknowledgement part is like, people never talk about things, like both my parents were abused, but I'm, my dad, I don't think ever, he was like in and out of these behavioral therapy places. And, my grandparents on my mom's side were trying to get her help as well, but with money. And, this was back like in like the 60s and 70s and stuff, when mental health, I wasn't there, but I'm sure that some people are aware of just like stigmas and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just like, well, what's worth it more, like your pride, or, just people not being stressed out.
Right. Thank you for that, Nicole. Thank you very much for everything that you've done here and will continue to do on certain of it. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen unless there is somebody in the audience who would like to talk about any particular piece. Otherwise, I'll stop sharing the screen and then we'll just see each other and make our final comments. Does anybody have any final comments on the paintings themselves? Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing. All right, so we can see everyone. So guys, you can unmute yourselves. It's 6:07. We're running a good schedule here. Is there any final words any of the attendees would like to impart or share with Nicole for her bravery?
Well, this is Naja. I just want to say, although these are paintings and I'm seeing them virtually, I feel the pain in those paintings. I very, very often pick up the pain of other people, but I also pick up that by doing these paintings, it shows that, you know, this is not who you are. This is not your identity. And that you have moved past this whole ordeal to the point where you can face it and still be who you have developed into. And I feel it. I feel it.
Thank you, Naja. I feel like that you're a very powerful person yourself.
Winifred?
Yes. Did you ever, Nicole, I know you have done these paintings now as an adult. Do you recall as a child ever in any of your artwork in school or at home, express yourself with what was going on?
I do remember one drawing that I did to show someone, which was, it was kind of like me in my room, and I used like a lot of red and stuff to kind of like symbolize this. I don't know, that was like the pain and stuff. This was probably, yeah, maybe like 9th or 10th grade, either. It had to have been before, because it was the same room that I was depicting. So I did that once and I showed it to one of my friends, and I just don't think they actually knew, you know, what to make of it really. And so I like to draw, I keep drawing and stuff, but I hadn't really put this much focus on how I was feeling about that type of stuff before.
Thank you.
Thank you, Winifred, for asking that. I think as artists, those who are here, drawing and painting always helps us to focus on something other than other things, maybe. So, are there any other comments or questions to be directed to Nicole? Powerful exhibit, Nicole. Powerful, powerful. Because of your bravery.
Okay, I'll see you in a little bit.
Delzenia?
Yes.
Did you want to make some comment?
I just want to say it's beautiful work. I understand, because I'm a survivor, that how difficult it can be, how challenging it can be to create it. But I want to say thank you. And it's powerful work. It's beautiful work. And I appreciate it being shared in the commentary.
Thank you.
Thank you, Delzenia, for those comments, and thank you for acknowledging Nicole's work. Thank you very much. And there's Lois saying hello. Lois, did you want to make a comment? You're muted. Did you want to make a comment, Lois? Oh, she's having a hard time with her let's see if I can do it for you. No, I can't. Okay, we'll try. Wendy, I think you wanted to say something.
I have to say it has, your art has definitely pulled up some emotional feelings inside that, you know, it's a continuing, when you are a victim, it continues all throughout your life, but you don't try to let it affect your life. You just go on and be the best you can be in life. And I give her so much credit for her beautiful art and that her expression and how could be used to help so many other people. And just being able to, I think you're the only person I've ever seen been able to really express what has happened to you on the campus like this. And it's pretty intense and very emotional and a wonderful thing though. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. It means a lot that everyone is being very fair and kind about all of this stuff.
Well,
and I
know, Nicole, know that.
My father.
I'm sorry, Wendy, say that again.
Oh, I'm sorry. My father didn't admit it that he had sexually abused me. I was in my late 50s. And then I had always known it and I'd always, but you know, sometimes we just stuff things behind. And when he did finally admit it and tell me how sorry he was, I was like 58 years old. I'm now 60. And it was more traumatic on him than it was for me because I'd already done my work, you know. So it just, it's a process, I think, but I think that we're all going to be okay, you know, from all this type of thing.
Yeah.
About it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Wendy. I think one of the most important things, Nicole and all of us, is to surround ourselves with support, right? And avoid the people who want to make it worse or just, you know, trigger too much negative stuff, you know. The best we can do is what we're doing now in this moment, is support each other, be honest, and again, support each other with love. That's all I can say. I think you feel it, Nicole. You feel it because it's there. And it's not only there, you're letting it in. Right? You're letting it in. Because I've run across people who have their walls up, and no matter how much love I can send to them, it will not reach. So I'm thanking you that you're able to receive our love for
And she's
what
not,
you're doing for you.
mhm.
And she's not the only one. That's right.
Yeah, not
All
alone.
of us, you know. Yeah. So, but again, one of the things that Art Impact is about is to support the artists, not just to show their work, but to talk about it, talk about serious subjects. And this is a serious subject. This is a very serious subject. So with that said, I did promise you guys that I would show you the next this isn't quite a commercial, but I guess it is. Okay, this is, let me share this. This is our next, let me stop that one, I'm sorry. It's this one, yeah. Okay. So again, just to summarize, this is Nicole's page. It is artimpactinternational.org/Nicole-Sullivan, and you can find it here under solo shows. Here's her name, Nicole Sullivan. So if you ever want to come back and look at the works, you may. It's going to be up through the end of the month, right? And you can get to see. Now, let me say, this button here is going to be replaced with the recording because this has been recorded, and you can click on here to listen to any part of it that you like again. And this is the information about Nicole and her picture there. And lastly, I just want to, this is the artist call for FEM. These are for women champions. So this page is complete as much as it can be for now. And so the entry deadline is in September. It's going to be a 3-month exhibit from October to December. And we're going to have artist talks and gallery talks just like this one. And the themes are going to be women. So we're looking for artwork which honor women in leadership roles. It could even be your mother. It can be a family member. It could be people that generally are unknown. If you want to do portrait or abstract, but it has to be relative to the theme. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that again. And it's out now. You're hearing about it for the first time. You're the first group who knows that this is actually live now. Again, artist call FEM. All right, and FEM is actually a phase 1 of a great amount of work. We're actually going to take, hopefully we'll get our grants accepted and we'll get money to take this into the schools and also other organizations and institutions. But that's more than I want to talk about right now. But I just wanted to give you guys a heads up as to what's going on with Art Impact International and what our next steps are going to be. We're actually going to have a party for the Child Factor artists. Some of you are on the call today. In Maryland. Obviously, some of you are not close by, but you can join us at the party through Zoom. So I hope to see you guys there. And with that, let me see if I can stop sharing again so I can see your beautiful faces. And so last round of questions or answers or applause to Nicole. I want to just give her a big hand clap for all of her hard work. Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So
I would like to know, so how do we attend the party?
Oh, you can go to, let's see. Trying to think. I didn't make a mass invitation because it is a physical party, but it's also a Zoom party. If you put your, let me see, Delzenia, if you give me your, do I have your email, Delzenia?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
You want me to give that to you?
Yes, you can send it through the chat. You can send it through the chat and I'll copy it and I'll put it where I can, and then I'll send you the link.
And then I'd like to know, how can we be in touch with Nicole to keep in touch with her and know what she's doing?
Okay, so Nicole, if you agree, all of the people who attended this Zoom meeting, I can share your email address and phone number. Do you give permission for that?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So there you have it. So look out for that email. And I'm only giving it to those who are on this call. And I have a record who actually showed up to this call. So I'll do that. And Delzania, did you put your
I'm doing, these are little tiny little things, so I'm trying.
Okay. All right. So, other than that, guys, are you ready to say good afternoon? Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's here. That is, oh, okay. But that was an email that I sent to the members. I don't think Delzeni is a member. So I'm going to send that. Thank you, Winifred. She's showing you what it looks like, the invitation. So I'm going to make a note.
So I sent you my email.
Okay, great, great. And anybody else who doesn't know about it and might be able to come on the Zoom as well, or show up at the physical party, you can give me. Okay, great. Thank you, Delzeni. I'm gonna write it
And
down.
thank you, Nicole. Thank you
Thanks, Nicole.
for your courage and being so brave and your beautiful work.
Thank you for coming to see it and having this conversation.
Thank you, Nicole.
Thanks, Nicole.
Thank you.
Thank-
Okay,
And thank you,
guys.
Carolyn.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. This it just warms my heart to know that we are making an impact, even if it's the smallest one. It's important that we help each other and keep supporting each other, because you're not going to find this everywhere, but here you can count on it, right? So I love you guys. I always tell you that because it's true, right? And I love you. I love you. And thank you. So have a great rest of the weekend. And mwah.
Thank you.